What's that saying? They said, you'll own nothing and be happy. Like, if you see it now, it's being implemented and integrated, and they did it in a really sneaky way. If you notice over the years, especially you grew up in the 90s, that everything's now a subscription. Back in the days when you bought a PlayStation 2, it was your PlayStation 2. I still remember, playing PlayStation 2, playing Grand Theft Auto 3. I think that was my first Grand Theft Auto was part 3. And when you bought the games, then you owned it. Point blank period. There was no online updating. There was no constant need of assurance that the game is still yours or the licensing switched and they have to take this out the game or they have to upgrade this. There was none of that. It was like you bought things and you owned them. And nowadays, everything's becoming like such a subscription. It seems like there's like a subscription for life as well. If you really think about it, it's like we're born in this dimension to be tormented. That's what it feels like. It's like you have to pay for everything. You got to pay for water. You got to pay for food. You got to pay just for existing. And even if you don't pay with no money, you're going to pay with pain. You're going to pay with agony. You're going to pay with emotional deficiencies. You're going to pay with something. And that's brutal. I can't believe like there's something good that made all of this and established all of this and put all this into existence, and it's not evil or vile or sick or twisted, because there's no reason for all of us to suffer. There's trillions and billions of planets out there. So you're telling me that there's not enough resources to go around, but yet if we just go find another planet or whatever, there's plenty of resources, but they said they haven't figured that out yet, but they can figure out how to fuck our lives over. Ain't that something? And if you read ancient knowledge and ancient texts, they talked about all types of, space travelers and fairs, but I'm not gonna get deep into that. But I don't know, man. If you look at things like even like your Xbox or whatever, the minute you get disconnected offline, boom, all of a sudden you don't own the game. And I know there's other workarounds, whatever. Those workarounds ain't always 100% neither. And then you got the Netflix subscriptions. It's like everything's trying to get you on a subscription. And then when it comes to, wage slaving away, it's never really enough. And a lot of us just want to thrive and stay alive and survive. And especially when you get my age. See, one thing about me is I don't look my age. I look like somebody that's like in their early 20s. I look like somebody that's 24. I don't look my age. And I noticed that because it's like when I go around people my age or whatever, they look way more older than me, honestly. And I think it has like how you live your lifestyle as well, you know, and the stress and drama you're around, I believe. And the more stress you go through in life, the more it ages you, point blank, period. And it's just absolutely brutal, man. But this world, man, it doesn't really get better, man. If you look at the economics, you look at the money system, it's all being digitalized. You know, they're monitoring everything, they're monitoring every single thing you do online, literally. Like, I don't know if these cell phone devices we have in our hands can read our minds, but it feels like that sometimes. Like, have you ever just thought about something and then boom, you see an ad come up and you're like, hold on, wait a minute. First of all, I haven't thought about that exact thing in like 3 weeks or 3 months. I happened to think about it like last night and I kept thinking about it intensely and intimately. And then the next thing you know, an ad pops up for it. What kind of do they have some type of secret technology they're not telling the public about? Of course. I already know the answer to that. But still, it's just not right, man. Like, think of the kids of the future. What are they going to inherit? A lot of young men can't even afford houses, you know? People are like, look at me, bro. I'm pretty much fucking homeless with nothing, but I was an amazing fucking rapper. If I would have made it in what I wanted to make it in, I wouldn't be in this position, I'd probably be extremely wealthy and successful. But because of the D word, I won't say the name, but if you know certain texts, you know what I'm talking about. Um, all because of some mad evil, sick, twisted being. People, I don't care if you believe it or not, whatever. Doesn't matter. We're gonna die and find out, and then probably get it's something very sick that's hidden behind the scenes of this world. Like this dimension's not created for us to enjoy. Do you ever feel like that? Like it's not meant for us to be happy and enjoy our lives. It's meant for us to always be obedient to a system that doesn't give a damn about us. To always be around people that are insufferable, and go out into the world and deal with even more people that are even more insufferable and people that just don't like you and you don't like them. And it's like a lot of the times you don't have to do anything to nobody. You know, you can just be sitting at the fucking bus stop and somebody may not like your face and they automatically judge you or want to do something to you. You could be walking down the street, walking your dog, and somebody wants to try to attack you or fuck with you. You know, at least people of my skin color configuration can understand the situation that we're faced in, and it goes for any other people as well. But when you look a certain way, when society automatically demonizes you because of your skin color configuration, it makes life extremely difficult. You know, and I'm in a very tense situation now. I got doxxed. I got people in my family who I didn't want, knowing about my channel, finding out my channel, and then you know what I mean. People doxed me, sent videos to my mom, and found my name and did all this weird fucking shit, you know. And as Lord Mathka said in his video earlier, like all the suffering we go through is for nothing. There's no reason for suffering. People think that you suffer and you go through things, God's going to magically bless you. Hell no. Has God blessed you yet? You've been going through this shit for years. You've been praying for years and still haven't caught a blessing. Meanwhile, some girl's spreading her behind hole on OnlyFries and getting $20 million. You know what I mean? So, or some girl's whispering in the mic, ASMR, doing shit like that. And then the next thing you know, she's a fucking millionaire in a couple of years. You know, it's just, I truly believe that there has to be some type of different entity out there, you know, that has to be seeing this. I just don't know why they're not helping us, you know. And then there's like some entity that's in control of all of this that's extremely evil, extremely cynical. And you got to understand, if there's a wicked God running this, or a wicked being or entity, whatever you want to call it, wicked energy, energetic manifestation or frequency, whatever it is, and you got to look at the people that follow this being. Are they narcissistic? Are they evil? Are they conniving? Are they deceiving? You know, a God's creation is a reflection of itself. It's the reflection of its own heart. And its people that follow it is a reflection of its own emanations. So if you are a person that, have you ever seen religious people that behave in the evil ways? Have you ever seen that before? You have people that go to church all the time, but they still harbor some type of internal emotional deficiencies and hate. It happens everywhere. Like I had somebody was telling me last week, you know, well, his grandmother, you know what I mean? Like he said his grandmother, you know, because like he doesn't get along, he doesn't get along too well with his grandparents or whatever, you know, because his grandfather can't see why he doesn't own a house and have wife and kids, and he's just like trying to tell them like it's not back in the days when you guys had it, you know. But they go to church all the time, they're religious and all that, but he also said they're extremely racist and stuff like that, and they have their views and ways about certain demographics of people, right? But he was just saying how they're just the most evilest people, but yet they have all this money, wealth, and success, and power and prosperity. And in a truly fair world, a person with a good heart should be able to rise above and overcome their circumstances, whether it's ugliness, whether it's poverty, whether it's economic stabilization, whether it's mental deficiencies, you know, or whether you have an affinity to something that you really want to create and dwell your time into. And that's the thing about this life, is it goes by so fast. Like 1 minute you're 21 years old, the next minute you're 25, then the next minute you're 30, you know, the next minute you're 35, and the next minute you're fucking 40. And you're like, where the hell did my life go? What did I really accomplish? And it's because of emotional deficiencies. You have to be around people that are doing things that you want to do in life. If you love music, get around other people that love music. If you love fucking playing basketball, get around other people that love playing basketball. You need to have the right people in your life, and that's hard to do because some people was never even given the chance because they were ugly, ostracized, poor, or just written off to the world. And then people act like that doesn't matter. This is one thing I hate about humanity, is that I dislike this trait in humanity because it's like there's no empathy, there's no sympathy, there's no putting yourself in another person's shoes and see what they're going through. They're just heartless and merciless. And then when life hits them in the head, they want to beg and cry for attention. No, you know the messed up things you've done to people in your life if you're an evil person. And you know if you're a good person that you didn't bother nobody. You mind your business, you stayed out the way, you didn't really try to do no bull crap to nobody, and you just mind your business. All you wanted to do was succeed in what you wanted to succeed in. But life just has a way of taking certain people and not letting them be successful, no matter how hard they try, you know? And that's another thing too, you know, it's with age, it does comes wisdom, but also with age, it comes pain. I know a 19-year-old who's a professional full-time music producer and has his own house, got his own car, and he's 19 years old. He said he started with FL Studio when he was like 10. When I was 10 years old, like FL Studio wasn't even like as it is now. There wasn't no YouTube, you know? There was none of that in those days, you know? And nowadays, these youngsters, they do have an advantage where they have all this information, but also there's a consolidation of power as well. So simultaneously, you have the ability to have information at your fingertips, but what type of information? Does this information encourage your spiritual growth and development? Do you know about the HARP system? You know, I think in the Caribbeans now, it's like a big storm or something like that going on, and it's just it looks like the HARP system at play. If you don't know what the HARP system is, do your research and analyzation, and adequate study. But a lot of this stuff we go to is fomented. It's being fomented and it's being orchestrated and directed at us like a particle being weapon on a capital enemy ship. It's being directed at us. All this pain, all this agony, all this fighting, you know, this is being done on purpose to make you feel worthless, to make you feel like you're not. There's something, I don't know, bro. I truly believe, man, there's something out there that's hidden behind the shadows that it eats off of our suffering. Because, like, whenever you're in an emotional mood, don't you feel it in your chest? Whenever you're depressed, sad, miserable, whatever it is you're going through, you can feel it. And there's certain beings we cannot see. You can call them demons, you can call them archons, you can call them evil spirit, you can call them whatever you want to call it, the devil, you can call whatever. They feed off of us in a negative emotional state, which is why so many people are in a negative emotional state. There's more people that are miserable than are happy. Point blank, period. Right now there's somebody that probably has a wife, a kid, maybe a decent job or whatever, a car, but he's probably drowning in all types of fucking stress and anxiety. You know what I mean? Even though he has things that people can only dream of, right? But even then, his wife probably cheating on him. It's getting expensive to take the kids to class. You got to worry about this car note. You got to worry about this, that, and the third. And it's a lot of stress and pressure. But also, there's levels to hell, layers to hell. I mean, look at my position. Having my own place, having all that type of shit is a damn dream, right? But when you're in a certain situation, or when this is another thing too, they say have faith. Bro, I've had faith for a long, long time, bro. And let me tell you something about faith. Faith doesn't mean shit if you don't have the right people around you that can actually move it, You can try yourself all you want to. You can try to fight the hands of destiny. I tried my best, bro. Y'all seen how I used to rap back in the days. This fucking evidence is right there. When I was 18, I wanted to be financially stable and independent. But I thought that, the path that I wanted to take was the right path. And hell, maybe it was, because I had so many people like, bro, if you would have just done this, that, and the third, But when you got everybody around you, even friends who kind of secretly want you to fail, it's very difficult to prevail. And you'll be trapped in this internal infernal hell. It's brutal. That's the reality we have to face, man. And coping only takes you so far, And plus, it's like the last month or a few weeks, whatever, I'm at this place I'm at now, and pretty much I'm gone, you know what I mean? And it's interesting. So now I gotta really it's funny, man. It's like certain people that really deserve to make it never get the opportunity or chance to really showcase their skills to the adequate right people, because that can change their whole life. You can go from being homeless with nothing to go into getting your own shit with just a sign of a record deal, or just a sign of somebody that's coming around. And I'm not dumb. I know record deals are just big loans, you know what I mean, pretty much, and they trap you and take your royalties and your masters and, your rights and all that shit. But at the same time, bro, when you ain't got nothing and you're broke and you're at the bottom and all you have is all these haters online, hatred around you, hatred just everywhere coming at you, how do you fight that? Some people are amazed that I'm still able to make videos, make beats, write, rap, do all that, and I'm in the position that I'm in. They said they would have been gave. One person told me, bro, as soon as they would have doxed me, bro, I would have never came back on the internet. It's like, you came back like a middle finger to them. And it's like, bro, was like, I guess that, but I wasn't even thinking that, bro. I'm just coming back because I liked making videos. Like, these videos are just what I liked. It wasn't for people to find out, people to troll. It wasn't for none of that. It's just, there's just people in this world that are just sick, and they'll never get punished for it. They'll never, ever, 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 ever get punished for how they treated you, how they attacked you, how they singled you out. They'll never get punished. Never. In this world or the next. It's like there's something that feeds off of the chaos of humanity. They feed off the insanity of humanity. And it's absolutely brutal, cruel, wicked, twisted, and sadistic. But that's the fucking crazy world we live in. Absolutely brutal.